All right, this is lesson 32. Why don't you zoom right here just for a second. This is lesson 32, and this is for Algebra 1. Okay, and this lesson is on scientific notation. This is pretty simple to do. You use this a lot in science when you have really big numbers. You can see this is a big number, but really not even that big. But to write this in correct scientific notation, you always want to put the decimal one place after the first non-zero number. So I want my decimal right here. Now, you don't see a decimal, but there is a decimal here. It's right there if you don't see it. So how I'm going to write this is 5 times 10, and then count how many places you move the decimal. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 times 10 to the 5th. Okay, so I'm going to keep this simple. This one, your decimal, you want it right here, because remember you only want one number to the left of your decimal. So I'm going to write 3.56. You can just kind of drop all those zeros. But then remember your decimal's back here if you don't see it. So how many places did you move it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would look like that. Okay? We can do one more real quick. This one, again, my decimal needs to be right there. So that's 5.48. Oh gosh, up here, look what I did. Cameras make me nervous. I forgot the 10. Okay, this would be times 10 to the, count how many places you're going to move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be times 10 to the 7th. Okay, now this is a tiny number. So this is about the same thing. I still want my decimal one place after the non-zero number. So I'm going to write this as 9.6. It's tiny. Notice I moved my decimal 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to show that with a -4. Okay? We went into detail more in class how this works, but this actually does work if you would work it out. But they can ask me in class and I'll go over that more in detail. Okay, let's try this one. This one's a little harder. Can you see it? Is it nice and clear? Okay, I want my decimal right here because as soon as I first see my first non-zero number, I'm like, whoop, there it is. That's where I want my decimal. So I'm going to write it as 9.13. Sorry, I'm messing with cats while doing math. Times 10. Now let's see how many places I moved it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a tiny little number. So I'm going to write that. Don't forget your negative sign. Okay, so that's all you have to do there. Now, here's what I want. Ignore all this. Okay, that's what I told the students. Ignore all that. Here's what I want you to do. You don't have to estimate, blah, blah, blah. Take each of these and write them in scientific notation. So that's the first step I want to see. So you're going to write this as 1.9 times 10, and notice you're moving it 3, 4, 5 places. Okay. I'm going to take that, put this one in scientific notation, and 6. You're going to write that as 6, good, times 10 to the
6.
Very good. Ah, getting on the table. Excuse me, little side note there. Okay. Then you can use your calculator. I have no problem with that. But multiply these two numbers together. So I got my calculator out right here. 1.9 times 6. And I get 11.4. Notice here, these have the same base. And when you're multiplying, you can add the exponents. So that would be 5 plus 6. That would give me 11. Now this is a good answer, but it's not in correct scientific notation because my decimal should be right there. Okay? It should look like this. But obviously, if I move my decimal one more place back, I want you to think about that. This is the hardest part. If this is an 11, what it's telling me is I would have to move my decimal 11 places this way. But since I want to move my decimal here, now instead of moving it 11, I'm going to have to move it 12. So that is your answer right there. Okay? Now,
Yay.
Let's try one more of these. Okay? Put this one in correct scientific notation. It's going to go right there. So it's going to be 1.815. You moved your decimal 3, 4, 5 places. Now, this one I'm going to put the decimal right here. So it's going to be 4.16. Think about how many places you moved it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gosh, a lot. So now, use your calculator and just multiply these boring numbers together. So that's 1.815 times
4.16,
which equals this, 7.5504. My decimal's in the right place because I only have one number to the left of it. add these. Since you're multiplying, you can add your exponents. So that should be your answer right there.
Whoopee!
All right, I'm going to flip the page here because we're going to do something that has a tiny numbers in it. Let's do, I didn't do this one in class, so let's do this one, okay? Put this one in correct scientific notation, and it's going to be what, 2.1 times 10. Let's see, I moved it 1, 2, 3 places, so it's going to be a -3. This one, my decimal's here, but I need to move it right there. Now, I'm going to write this as 3.5. If you want to write it 3.50, whatever.
Why is this one out?
Is it a -4?
No, it's a positive. No, it's a...
1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be a -4. Okay, so again, use your calculator. I want to see this step. Don't skip this step. Multiply these two together. 2.1 times 3.5. That's 7.35. And again, you're multiplying, so add your exponents. So there you go. Okay.
Yay!
Last one right here. I am dividing. So go ahead and put this in scientific notation. 5.6. It's a big number. So I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places.
Positive.
I do not like division symbols, really. That reminds me of 4th grade. So I'm going to do that. This one, when I write it, it's going to be 4 times 10, because I'm going to put my decimal right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, when you're dividing, take these numbers, hit them in your calculator. 5.6 divided by 4. 5.6 divided by 4 gives me 1.4. Now, when you're dividing, this line means dividing, what do you do with your exponents? Do you remember? No, you add them when you multiply. So if I'm dividing them, I'm going to subtract. And 5 minus 9 is a -4. So that's that one. Now, I had the students do this one in class before they left. Notice, if I put it in scientific notation, I get this. When you hit this in your calculator, you get 4. 6 minus 6 is 0. A lot of students forgot what is 10 to the 0. And remember, anything, except for 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. So what I have here is 4 times 1. This is 1. So you get just a boring 4. Okay? And that should do it. Enjoy.